Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life, in every journey, where we look around and realize we don't have what we used to. The resources aren't the same. The energy isn't the same. The path ahead seems longer. The weight we carry seems heavier. And if we're not careful, we start focusing on what's been lost instead of what's still left. But I came here today to tell you, strengthen what remains. See, life has a way of stripping us down. Challenges come, people walk away, plans don't go as expected, and in those moments it's easy to feel like you've been emptied out, like you're running on fumes. But hear me, if you still have breath in your body, if you still have something, anything left in your hands, that means you are not finished. Sure. Here's an expanded version of point one, shift your focus, in 450 words. Too often when life knocks us down, we spend so much time looking at what we've lost that we fail to see what's still in our hands. We replay the disappointments, analyze the failures, and count the people who walked away. Our minds become filled with thoughts of what could have been, what should have been, what used to be. And without realizing it, we begin to live in the past, trapped by the weight of loss instead of fueled by the potential of what remains. But the truth is, what you focus on will determine your future. If you spend your energy mourning the past, you will never build the future. If you keep staring at the closed doors, you will miss the new opportunities right in front of you. Life is not about what you've lost. It's about what you do with what you still have. Because no matter how much has been taken, something remains. And what remains is enough to start again. Think about a farmer whose field has been destroyed by a storm. If he walks through the wreckage, crying over every crop that was ruined, he will miss the seeds that are still in his hands. He will miss the soil that is still beneath his feet. He will miss the fact that even though the storm came, he is still standing. And if he takes what's left, the seeds, the soil, his own strength, and plants again, the harvest will come. But that harvest is only possible if he shifts his focus from loss to opportunity, from despair to action. The same is true for you. Yes, life has taken some things from you. Yes, there are moments you wish you could undo, paths you wish you had taken, relationships you wish had lasted. But look closer, what remains? What skills, what knowledge, what faith, what experiences do you still carry? That's where your future begins. But as long as your mind is fixed on what's gone, you will never see what's growing right in front of you. Shifting your focus is a choice. It's deciding to stop grieving over what's done and start building with what's left. It's refusing to let regret be the loudest voice in your mind. It's waking up every day and reminding yourself, I still have something. I still have power. I still have strength. Because the moment you start focusing on what remains instead of what was lost, you will see that what's left is not just enough, it's everything you need. No matter what you've been through, the fact that you are still here means that your story isn't over. Life may have stripped some things away, but it has not taken everything. You may have been knocked down, but you were not knocked out. There is still something inside of you, some strength, some fire, some resilience that has not been destroyed. And as long as there is something left, you have the ability to rebuild, to rise again, to take what remains and make it stronger than before. The problem is that too many people mistake setbacks for endings. They assume that because they lost something, they've lost everything. But that is never the case. No loss, no failure, no disappointment has the power to erase your potential. Think about a candle that is burned low. The wax is melting, the flame is small, but as long as there is even the tiniest flicker, the fire is not gone. All it takes is the right breath, the right fuel, and that flame can grow again. Your life is the same way. You may feel like you're running on empty, like your best days are behind you, but as long as there is even a spark left, there is still power inside you. That power is your will to keep going, your ability to take even the smallest bit of strength and build upon it. The fact that you have made it this far through every challenge, every hardship, means that you are stronger than you think. And if you are still standing, you are not finished. History is filled with people who thought they had lost everything but refused to let that be the end of their story. They took what remained, their skills, their experiences, their determination, and built something even greater. You have the same ability. It doesn't matter how many times life has knocked you down. What matters is that you get back up. What remains in you, your courage, your wisdom, your resilience, is enough to keep going. But you have to make the decision to see what's left instead of what's gone. You have to believe that what you still have is enough, because it is. No one else can make that choice for you. No one else can pick up the pieces for you. But if you take what remains and strengthen it, if you pour into it, nurture it, and refuse to give up, you will see that your best days are not behind you. They are still ahead. When life takes something from you, it's easy to believe that you are empty. The job is gone, the relationship is over, the opportunity has passed. And in that moment, you may feel like you have nothing left to give. But what if the loss wasn't the end? What if it was only revealing what truly remains? What if instead of focusing on what's missing, you turned your attention to what still exists within you? Because no matter what has been taken, no matter what has changed, something remains. And what remains is still powerful. Think about a tree in the middle of a harsh winter. Its leaves have fallen, the flowers have withered. To the outside world, it looks dead, useless, finished. But beneath the surface, something is still alive. The roots are still deep in the ground, still drawing strength, still holding firm. And when the season changes, that tree will bloom again, not because it got something new, but because it used what remained. You are the same. Life may have stripped some things away, but your roots, your strength, your wisdom, your resilience are still in place. The foundation is still there. And if you will focus on what remains instead of grieving over what's lost, you will realize that you are far from empty. You are still standing, still capable, still full of potential. It's easy to believe that when something is gone, it means everything is over. But some of the greatest success stories in history were built by people who lost what they thought they couldn't live without, only to discover that what remained was more than enough. Some of the greatest inventions, greatest businesses, greatest victories came from people who were left with nothing but an idea, a little faith, and the determination to keep going. They didn't let loss define them. They didn't let disappointment become their identity. Instead, they looked at what remained and they used it. They built from it. They strengthened it. And from that place, they created something even greater than before. You have the same ability. You have something left in you, something strong, something powerful, something valuable. It may not look like much right now, but if you focus on it, if you nurture it, if you refuse to let the weight of the past steal your future, you will see that what remains is more than enough. You are not empty. You are not finished. And if you strengthen what remains, you will rise again. People often believe that they need to start over with something brand new in order to move forward. They think they need fresh opportunities, new resources, or a completely different set of circumstances. But the truth is, success isn't about having everything. It's about making the most of what you still have. What remains after hardship, after struggle, after disappointment is not useless. In fact, it is often the most valuable thing you possess. It is the foundation upon which you can build something stronger than before. History proves that you don't need an abundance to create something meaningful. You just need to use what you have. Some of the greatest businesses in the world started with almost nothing. Some of the most impactful leaders rose to greatness after losing everything. It wasn't their circumstances that changed, it was their mindset. Instead of looking at what they lacked, They took whatever remained, whether it was an idea, a skill, or just sheer determination, and they strengthened it. That's what separates those who rise from those who remain stuck. It's not about what's lost, it's about how you use what's left. Imagine a builder whose home is destroyed by a storm. He could stand in the ruins overwhelmed by what's gone, or he could take the remaining bricks and start laying a new foundation. He may not have everything he started with, but he has something, and something is all you need to begin again. The problem is that too many people never take this step. They wait for the perfect conditions for something new to arrive, for a fresh start to magically appear. But waiting won't change anything. The only way forward is to work with what remains. You might think that what you have left is too small to matter. Maybe you feel like your energy is low, your resources are depleted, or your confidence is shaken. But strength isn't found in having more, it's found in using what you already have. A small spark can start a wildfire. A single seed can grow into a mighty tree. And the little that remains in you can be the very thing that takes you to your next level. But you must make the choice to use it. Stop looking at what's missing. Stop waiting for something new. What you have is enough if you are willing to strengthen it. The next chapter of your life isn't about what you lost. It's about what you do with what's still in your hands. Strength isn't something that just appears when everything is going well. It's something that must be built, nurtured, and developed, especially when life has taken its toll. Strength is not found in ease or comfort. It is found in resistance. In the moments when everything in you wants to give up, but you choose to keep pushing forward. And the only way to truly grow stronger is to take what remains, no matter how little it seems, and invest in it. Strength does not come from what was lost. It comes from what you choose to rebuild. Think about a muscle. When you work out, your muscles don't grow because they have never been tested. They grow because they have been stretched, challenged, even torn, and then rebuilt. The same is true for you. The struggles, the setbacks, the losses, they may have shaken you, but they did not break you. If you take what remains and pour into it, if you refuse to let hardship define you, but instead use it to refine you, you will become stronger than you have ever been. The process may not be easy, but the result is worth it. The problem is that too many people stop at the breaking point. They experience loss, and instead of using what remains, they assume they are too weak to continue. But strength is not about never facing difficulty. It's about what you do when difficulty comes. If you take what remains, your talents, your experiences, your wisdom, your drive, and work on strengthening it, you will find that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. Growth does not come from avoiding challenges. It comes from facing them head on and refusing to let them defeat you. Think of a tree that has been cut down. To the outside world, it looks finished, but deep within the stump, life still exists. If that tree continues to receive water and sunlight, new growth will emerge. Its branches will spread again, its roots will dig even deeper, and eventually it will stand tall once more, not because it never experienced loss, but because it refused to stop growing. You are no different. The strength you need is already inside you, waiting to be developed. It won't come from wishing things were different or dwelling on the past. It will come from putting in the effort, from feeding what remains, from refusing to give up. Strength is built through action, and if you take what is left and commit to strengthen it, you will rise stronger than ever before. The future is not determined by what you have lost, but by what you choose to do with what remains. Too many people spend their lives looking backward, mourning over missed opportunities, broken relationships, or failures that can't be undone. But life doesn't move in reverse. The past cannot be changed, and dwelling on it only robs you of the strength you need to move forward. What truly matters is what you do with the time, resources, and energy that are still in your hands. Your next season will not be shaped by what is missing. It will be built on what you choose to strengthen. Every great comeback story begins with someone who refused to stay stuck in what was lost. They looked at what remained, the little bit of hope, the few connections, the small ideas, the last ounce of determination, and they made the choice to build again. It wasn't easy and it wasn't instant, but they understood that success is not about having everything go perfectly. It's about taking what you have, no matter how small, and committing to making it strong. The same is true for you. It doesn't matter how much you've lost. What matters is what you're willing to do with what you still have. Think about a sculptor working with a damaged piece of marble. If he focuses only on the cracks, he will see it as useless, unworthy of his time. But if he looks beyond the damage, he will recognize that within that stone, something beautiful is still waiting to emerge. The sculptor doesn't throw the marble away, he shapes it, polishes it, strengthens it, until something extraordinary comes from what was once broken. Your life is the same. If you focus only on what's missing, you will never see the potential in what remains. But if you take what is left and work on it, refine it, invest in it, you will discover that you still have everything you need to move forward. The greatest mistake you can make is believing that your future is determined by your losses. It is not. Your future is shaped by what you choose to strengthen. The dreams that seem far away can still be reached. The purpose that feels buried under failure can still be fulfilled, but it starts with a decision to stop mourning over what's gone and start working with what's left, because what remains is enough. What remains is the foundation for something greater. And if you commit to strengthening it, your future will be even brighter than your past.